Hi, everyone. So you have been carrying this heavy feeling in your chest for quite a while now. It is that subtle weight, the one that shows up when you are just sitting at your desk or walking home after a long day, wondering if the loop you are in is ever going to break. I feel like you have been waiting for a sign or maybe just a moment of quiet to understand why things have felt so circular lately. Like you are walking the same path, seeing the same scenery, and meeting the same internal resistance. Finally, what you wanted will happen, but perhaps not in the loud, dramatic way you might expect. It feels more like a quiet door opening in a room you thought was locked. Welcome back. It's Anna. I am so glad you found your way to this space today. Um, let's just let's just take a second to settle in. You don't need to do anything right now. You don't need to fix anything. Just listen. Take what resonates with your soul and leave the rest behind. You are always the one in control of your journey, and your inner knowing is far more powerful than any words I could say. I want to talk about this cycle. It's a specific kind of tension, isn't it? Maybe you have noticed it in the way you reread a text message and feel that familiar sting of here we go again. Or perhaps it is a work decision where you feel pressured to say yes when every fiber of your being wants to say no. It feels like a toxic cycle, a repetitive motion that drains your battery without giving anything back. But there is a shift in the air, a possibility of ending toxic cycle patterns that have defined your last few months or maybe even years. I'm not sure why, but this feels important, really important. It's about the silence between you and the person or the situation that has been causing this restlessness. Sometimes we think the cycle ends with a big confrontation or a giant announcement, but I feel like for you, it might start with a simple realization while you are doing something mundane, like washing the dishes or staring out a window. You might just realize, I don't want to do this anymore. And in that moment, the power shifts. Let's pause for a moment. Think about a recurring situation in your life that feels like it's on a loop. How does it feel in your body? Is it a tightness in your shoulders? A hollowness in your stomach? I'd love for you to share, if you feel comfortable, what that sensation feels like for you in the comments. It helps to name it. I feel like there is a new beginning hovering nearby. New beginnings and ending toxic cycle habits often go hand in hand. You can't really have one without the other. It's like clearing out a garden. You have to pull the weeds before you can see the soil, right? And those weeds, they have deep roots. They are familiar. Sometimes we keep them because we are used to how they look, but you are reaching a point where the discomfort of staying the same is starting to outweigh the fear of changing. Hold on, let me slow down for a second. I want to be very clear here. This isn't about a magic wand waving over your life. It is about a change in your frequency. It is possible that you will notice people reacting to you differently because you are no longer playing your usual role in the drama. When you stop responding to the old triggers, the cycle has nowhere to go. It loses its momentum. Perhaps you have felt a bit of a routine shift lately. Maybe you are waking up at a different time, or you have lost interest in things that used to occupy a lot of your headspace. This is a grounded detail that matters. It's a sign that your energy is detaching from the old wanted list and moving toward what you actually need. Finally, what you wanted will happen. But it might arrive wearing a different set of clothes. You might have wanted an apology, but instead you get the gift of no longer caring if they apologize or not. You might have wanted a specific job, but instead you find a path that offers a freedom you didn't even know was possible. It is about the essence of the desire, not just the packaging. Let's sit with this for a moment. I'm sensing a lot of relief in the near future, not the kind of relief that comes from winning a race, but the kind that comes from finally laying down a heavy backpack. You might find yourself in a conversation soon where you notice a quiet tension, but instead of jumping in to fix it, you just stay quiet. You let the silence be. And in that silence, you find your strength. It feels like you are rereading the story of your life and realizing you are the author, not just a character being pushed around by the plot. That realization is the beginning of the end for any toxic cycle. When you stop being a victim to the repetition ceases to have a purpose. I'm curious, have you had a moment lately where you felt like you finally saw someone for who they really are rather than who you wanted them to be? How did that change your perspective? Let's talk about the new. New beginnings are often quiet. They are like seeds cracking open under the dirt. No one sees it happening, but everything is changing. You might start noticing small, unexpected messages or opportunities. Maybe a casual conversation with a stranger sparks an idea. Maybe a work decision that felt stuck suddenly feels like it has a bit of give to it. I feel like you are moving into a phase of grounded empowerment. This isn't about floating away into spiritual abstractions. It's about how you handle your phone. It's about how you spend your Tuesday afternoons. It's about the boundaries you set when you are tired. You are learning to protect your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. It really is. I'm not sure why, but I'm getting the image of someone clearing off a desk, just sweeping away the old papers, the old notes, the clutter. It's a physical manifestation of what's happening in your mind. You are making room. And when you make room, the universe tends to fill it with something that matches your new vibration. Let's pause for a second. You might feel a bit of restlessness during this transition. That is normal. When a toxic cycle ends, there is often a period of withdrawal. You are so used to the chaos or the stress that the peace feels, well, it feels boring or even scary at first. If you feel that restlessness, just sit with it. You don't have to fill the space with new drama just to feel alive. You are allowed to be peaceful. You are allowed to be still. I feel like finally what you wanted will happen as a result of this internal stillness. When you are no longer vibrating at the level of the problem, you become a magnet for the solution. It's possible that a new beginning is already taking root in a part of your life you haven't been paying attention to. Maybe in a hobby you put aside, or a friendship that has been steady and quiet while you were focused on the loud, toxic stuff. What is something quiet in your life that brings you joy? Let's acknowledge those small, steady lights in the comments. You remain in control of your choices. If the old cycle tries to knock on your door, and it might, because energy likes to test its boundaries, you have the choice to keep it closed. You don't owe your energy to anything that doesn't nourish you. Read that again, or rather, hear that again. You don't owe your energy to anything that doesn't nourish you. I feel like you are stepping into a version of yourself that is much more discerning. You are looking at your life with clear eyes. No more rose-colored glasses, and no more doom and gloom filters either. Just the truth. And the truth is, you have outgrown the old clothes. They are tight, they are uncomfortable. It is time for something new. New beginnings and ending toxic cycle patterns are the theme for this chapter of your life. It's a chapter about reclaiming your time, reclaiming your thoughts. Have you noticed how much energy that old cycle was taking? All that mental energy spent wondering, what if, or why did they? Imagine what you can do with all that power once you take it back. Let's sit with that for a moment. I want to talk about the feeling of relief. It's a physical sensation, like your lungs are finally able to expand all the way. You might feel it tonight when you lay down to sleep. A sense that you are safe in your own life, that the storm has passed, or at least you have found a solid shelter. I'm sensing that you might have been feeling a bit of analysis paralysis lately, trying to figure out the how and the when of everything. Perhaps you could try letting go of the how for a few days. Just focus on the now. What is one small thing you can do today that makes you feel like the person you want to be? Maybe it's just buying a different kind of tea or taking a different route home. These small routine shifts are the building blocks of new beginnings. I'm seeing a conversation that feels different, a conversation where you don't feel the need to explain yourself, where you feel grounded and sure. It's possible that this conversation is with yourself, a moment where you finally say, I am enough and I deserve peace. When you say that and truly believe it, the toxic cycles around you start to dissolve because they can no longer find a hook in you. I'm not sure why, but I feel like I need to remind you that you are allowed to change your mind. If you wanted something yesterday, but you don't want it today because you've realized it's part of an old cycle, that is growth. That is you evolving. Don't hold yourself hostage to old desires that no longer fit who you are becoming. Finally, what you wanted will happen because you are finally aligning with your true self. Not the self that wants to please everyone, not the self that is afraid of being alone, but the self that knows its own worth. How does it feel to think about your worth without comparing it to anyone else? That's a big question. Think about it. As we start to wrap this up, I want you to feel the floor beneath your feet. Feel the air in the room. You are here. You are present. The cycles of the past are just stories now. They don't have to be your current reality. You are standing at the threshold of something much more aligned. It might feel a bit quiet at first. It might feel unfamiliar, but this is the space where new beginnings thrive. You have cleared the ground. You have done the work. Now you just have to allow the growth to happen at its own pace. Trust your inner knowing. You don't need to rush. You don't need to force anything. The path is unfolding step by step right under your feet. You are doing so much better than you think you are. Let's take one last breath together. I feel a sense of calm coming over this reading, a sense that the message has landed where it needs to. Take this feeling with you into your day or into your sleep. Remember that you are the one who decides what stays and what goes in your life. You are empowered, you are grounded, and you are ready. I'll be here in the comments reading your stories and your reflections. It always moves me to see how these messages manifest in your real everyday lives. Be gentle with yourself today. You've earned this peace. Goodbye for now. I don't sell futures. I build architects. Not predictions, just the naked truth for the hard ones. Stay magic. Stay in the now.